Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to the daily news analysis of the NEXT IAS. Today is the 28th May 2025, and we are going to discuss important news from The Hindu as well as Indian Express from the UPSC Prelims and Mains perspective. So, the topic which we are going to discuss today are the 300th birth anniversary of Rajmata Ahilyabai Holkar and their celebration. Second is about the free trade agreement between India and USA, proposed talks and India and EU and their likely impact on the farm sector in India. Next is about the Madden-Julian Oscillations and its impact on the monsoon arrival in India. Next one is about the cargo ship collapse of the Kerala coast and its likely environmental as well as the other ill impacts. Next is about the India's overnutrition crisis in urban areas and its likely impact on the Indian economy. So let's start with the today's discussion. So first is with respect to 300th birth anniversary of Rajmata Ahilyabai Holkar. Basically, Madhya Pradesh government is celebrating 300th birth anniversary of Ahilyabai Holkar. This was a long 9-month campaign which was commenced in September 2024, and this was celebrated. This birth anniversary year was celebrated with the help of folk and dance performances, art exhibitions across the state, theatrical dramas across the cities, and state-sponsored film on her life. Also, the commemorative book. They basically these celebrations will culminate on May 31st with our Prime Minister Modi arriving in Indore to inaugurate the first phase of the Indore Metro's railways first phase. Then inauguration of the Datia as well as the Satna airports, as well as giving address to the women empowerment grand conference in Bhopal. On this particular occasion, more than 2 lakh women are expected to attend this grand conference, including the members of self-help groups, Ladli Bahina scheme beneficiaries and women entrepreneurs. So let's go into the life of the Ahilyabai Holkar and her contribution to India. First and foremost, she was the Holkar queen of Malwa kingdom, and she is also considered as one of the most revolutionary or visionary female rulers of India. In 18th century Malwa, she was instrumental in spreading the message of dharma as well as propagating the industrialization in those times. She is very widely known for her wisdom, courage and administrative skills. So early life, she was born on 31st May 1725 in Chondi, Maharashtra, in Ahmednagar district, which has been recently renamed as Ahilyanagar district. Basically, she was married to the son of a prominent commander of Maratha army, that is Malharrao Holkar, and to his son, that is Khandela Holkar. After untimely death of her husband, she was prevented from going to committing sati by her father-in-law, and who instead trained her in administration as well as the warfare. Following the death of Malharrao Holkar in 1766 and her son in 1767, Ahilyabai took over the rule of Malwa with the Peshwa's approval and became the ruler of Indore on 11 December 1767. She ruled for long 28 years with justice, wisdom, administrative excellence, transforming Malwa kingdom into a very prosperous state, as well as transforming Maheshwar into a cultural and economic hub of the region. So what are her contributions? The first and foremost contribution is with respect to the cultural legacy she left behind. That was with respect to renovation and reconstruction of the sacred Hindu sites like Jyotirlingas of Somnath, Varanasi, Trimbakeshwar, Gaya, Pushkar, Vrindavan, Nathwara, Haridwar, Badrinath, Kedarnath. She also renovated Kashi Vishwanath temple in 1780. She is also known for protecting the temple idols by installing them into the concealed sanctum sanctorums within the temple complexes to safeguard against invasion and iconoclasm. She resisted Mughal influence and fostered the unifying cultural identity among her subjects, transcending the divisions of the caste and religion. So Ahilyabai welcomed renowned intellectuals and poets such as Moropant, Shahir Anant Gandhi, Khushali Ram to her court, thus promoting the literature as well as the learning. When it comes to the inclusive governance and justice, she was widely known for her accessible governance through daily public appearances to hear the grievances of the people, progressive social reforms. She abolished the law that allowed state to confiscate the property of childless widows. Inclusive governance, in this she brought marginalized communities like Bhil and Gond and other tribes into the mainstream by promoting the agriculture amongst them. In case of industrial and economic development, she promoted Maheshwari sari weaving, establishing Maheshwar as a textile hub. She also encouraged the trade and cottage industries and boosted the regional economy, thus providing sustainable livelihoods for the people. Her environmental stewardship can be seen with her efforts in investment in the development of Indore, promoting urban planning, forest conservation, as well as the steps for the protection of wildlife. Legacy, her legacy includes she is considered and revered as one of the most enlightened and benevolent ruler of the 18th century. British historian John Kay honored her with the title of the Philosopher Queen. She passed away on August 13, 1795 at the age of 70, thus leaving behind legacy of justice, devotion and good governance. So here is the practice question with reference to the Ahilyabai Holkar recently seen in the news. Consider the following statement. Please solve this question. So the next article is about how the proposed FTAs and the ongoing discussion between India and US, India, UK, India, EU could impact the farm trade of India. Basically, this article gives an insights into the present state of India's agricultural trade, that is export as well as import. It also analyzes commodity wise trend in export and import, as well as what are the long term trends in the agricultural export and import in last 1 or 2 decades. So let's start. Basically, when it comes to agriculture export, the agriculture export in 2024-25 was value was $52 billion against $49 billion in 2023-24. When it comes to agricultural imports, there has been a growth of 17.2% in 2024-25 to $38.5 billion against 2023-24 value of $33 billion. India's agricultural trade surplus has more than from $27 billion to $13 billion between 2013 and 2024-25. This means that within 1 decade, our agriculture surplus has just 50% what it used to be a decade ago. So let's come to the agricultural export. Basically, between when it comes to the long term trend, between 2013-14 and 2019, because of the repeated monsoon failures, there has been a decline, but in 2022-23, it was peaked at around 53 billion. Overall, the increase was from 43 billion in 2013 to 52 billion in 24-25. That is almost 20% increase. So let's go into the commodity agricultural commodity wise trends into the agriculture export. Okay, when it comes to marine product, which is the largest export product of the India, there has been a drop of from $8.1 billion export price in 2022 to 7.4 billion in 2024. Basically, when it comes to marine products, the largest export destinations are US, which contribute 35% share, China 20% share, EU, European Union 15% shares. When it comes to rice or basmati, the export of basmati rice increased from 5.8 billion in 2023-24 to 5.9 billion in 2024. And when it comes to export of non-basmati rice, it increased from 4.5 billion to 6.5 billion. So when it comes to the export of rice, basmati, bulk of the basmati goes to the West Asia, and while non-basmati rice goes to the Africa. So this is about the rice export trends. Now let's delve into the coffee. Export of coffee increased from 1.2 billion in 2023 to 1.8 billion in 2024. This export growth can be attributed to the dry weather and drought in Brazil, followed by the typhoon in Vietnam, which are the major producers of the coffee. India mostly exports Robusta beans and powder used in instant coffee as well as the espresso blends. Now let's go into the next article, that is spices. When it comes to spices, the export of spices increased from 4.2 billion in 2023-24 to 4.4 billion in 2024-25. Basically, when it comes to the export, India is predominant exporter of chili, cumin, mint products, ole resins, curry powder or paste, other non-traditional spices like turmeric, coriander, fennel, ginger and garlic. India is a net importer of two traditional plantation spices, namely pepper and cardamom. We are the net importer in case of these two spices. When it comes to wheat, the export of wheat peaked in $2.1 billion in 2021-22, but the export was subsequently banned post-COVID condition or restricted in multiple ways. Now let's go into the sugar. Basically, India continues to export as well as import sugar. When it comes to export, India exports refined or white sugar, and this is from processing imported raw sugar, the value of which has gone up considerably. Sugar import, in case of India, sugar import dipped from 4.6 billion to 2.1 billion in 2024 and 25. And when it comes to cotton, India's export had crossed 4.3 billion in 2011-12 and 3.7 billion in 2012, but subsequently exports have not only collapsed, but at present we are the net importer of the cotton fiber. Now let's go into the agricultural import commodity trend analysis. Basically, when it comes to agricultural import, it has increased from 15.5 billion in 2013 to all-time high of 38.5 billion in 2024, which is almost 148% of increase. So let's go into the agricultural imports and its commodities trend. First and foremost, vegetable oil, which constitute almost 45% of import bill of India's agricultural imports. Import has been increased from $14.8 billion in 2023 to $17.3 billion in 2024-25. It's partly offset by the export of oil seeds, which India does mainly in the form of groundnut and sesame, and also India exports residual cake or meal after the extraction of oil. Reasons for this low per acre yield, reason for this enhance or increase in the import of vegetable oils includes low per acre yields relative to the rice as well as wheat. At the same time, no system of MSP based government procurement for the vegetable oils, which is leading to the decline in the production and cultivation. Now let's go into the pulses. Imports of pulses have been growing consistently in recent years, which were valued at $5.5 billion in 2024, pushing back the 5 billion mark for the first time in the history of India's agricultural import. Now let's go into the cotton and natural rubber. There has been consistent rise in the imports of cotton as well as the natural rubber, mainly due to the falling domestic production. India's cotton output, when it comes to cotton output, India's cotton output was 319 lakh to 291 lakh bales between 2013 to 2024. The rubber production has stagnated around 8.5 lakh tons in last 3 years, down from 9 in 2022-23. So when it comes to other significant agri items like fruits, spices, there has been a consistent increase of the import. Now Now, as of now, India is in a discussion of free trade agreement with USA, European Union, and what are the likely impacts of these likely free trade agreements. The first and foremost is about the increase in the likely surge in the imports of certain items like dry fruits, wines, spirits, processed food items from European Union as well as UK. It will what will be its impact? It will hurt our domestic producers, especially in the horticulture and beverage sectors. Next is about import of, what is the other impact? Next impact is about import of GM crops like soybean, maize, cotton from the USA. This will lead to the challenges related to the domestic regulatory norms, and it will definitely hurt Indian farmers who faced cost and yield disadvantages vis-a-vis the farmers of progressive farmers of the US and UK. Then import of edible oils and pulses. As a result of the free trade agreement between USA and European Union, it will further reduce our import duties, potentially disincentivizing the domestic production of the edible oils and pulses, which will further increase the import cost of these two items. Now, the other what are the likely export gains from these free trade agreements with USA and EU? The first and foremost is like the tariff benefits which you are going to get through these free trade agreements may not translate into the higher export. The reason behind this is whatever the present state of India's agri exports like rice, spices and coffee already face very low tariffs or are directed towards the markets outside the US, EU and UK. That is our export, agricultural export destinations are predominantly are West Asia, Africa and ASEAN. For India's marine products exports, US and EU equality and certification standards, that is sanitary and phytosanitary measures standards remains a perpetual hurdle. When it comes to domestic sectoral impacts of these FTAs, the cotton, FTAs easing access to the United States general GM cotton may worsen the competitiveness of the Indian cotton farmers. Spices, when it comes to spices, India may gain in Nikkei and high value spice exports, but will definitely going to face more competition in domestic markets from imports of plantation spices like pepper and cardamom. So, this is the practice question with reference to the recent trends in the India's agricultural trade between 2013, 14 and 2024 and 5. Consider the following statements. Please solve this question. Now, let us venture into the next article, that is the Madden-Julian Oscillation and its impact. Relevance, it is relevant from the GS1 geography point of view as well as prelims perspective. So, what is the context of this article? Basically, the southwest monsoon has arrived early this time, that is on May 24th in Kerala and Mumbai May 26th, which is in case of Mumbai this was the earliest onset ever recorded, and this earliest onset was primarily attributed to the Madden-Julian oscillations as reported by the Indian Meteorological Department. So, let us venture into this particular concept, that is what is the Madden-Julian oscillation. Basically, Madden-Julian oscillation is a major intra-seasonal climate pattern in the tropics. Intra-seasonal means within monsoon season. Within tropics means between 30 degree north and 30 degrees south of the equator. And this particular Madden-Julian oscillation phenomenon is most active over Indian and Pacific Oceans. It causes weekly to monthly fluctuation in the tropical weather. So, what is the likely impact? It causes weekly as well as the monthly fluctuation in tropical weather, which include rains as well as the storms. Again, this is an eastward moving system of clouds, winds and pressure that travels around the equator. It is an eastward moving system of clouds, winds and pressure that travels around the equator. It significantly influences global weather pattern, particularly in tropical and subtropical region. A recurring cycle, it reappears every 30 to 60 days. Basically, it has a cycle of 30 to 60 days. What are the phases of Madden-Julian Oscillation, MJO? It has two phases. The first phase is consist of the enhanced phase, in which the surface wind converge and causing air to rise. We can say that this is the enhanced phase. Rising air leads to cooling as well as coldness, resulting into the cloudiness and heavy rainfall. It is associated with stormy activity and monsoon strengthening. Subsequently, after the enhanced phase, there is a upcoming of the suppressed phase, in which at upper level the winds converge and pushing the air downward. Basically, this sinking of air warms, leading to the warming of the air, and dryness, leading to the clear skies and less rainfall. So, reduced cloud cover leads to the weakening of the monsoon activity. So, this is about the phases of enhanced phase as well as the suppressed phase of the MJO. So, what is the correlation between the MJO and Indian monsoon? Basically, the position as well as the cycle length of the Madden-Julian Oscillation have a direct impact on the monsoon rainfall all over the India. When over the Indian Ocean during monsoon months, it boosts rainfall. When I am again repeating this, when this particular MJO phenomena is over the Indian Ocean during monsoon months, it leads to the boost in the or increase in the rainfall. But when this MJO is lingering over the Pacific Ocean during the monsoon months, it led to suppress of the rainfall and worsens the monsoon performance. Shorter MJO cycles, that is equivalent to 30 days or less, are favorable for strong monsoon. In contrast, longer cycles, that is 40 plus days, could lead to the weaker monsoons in case of the Indian monsoon. Okay, so what is the significance of the Madden-Julian Oscillation in context of India? The first and foremost is about the monsoon forecasting. MJO has a tremendous role to play in case of monsoon forecasting, which helps us to predict the rainfall onset, strength as well as the variability. Strength and variability. Extreme weather influences cyclones, storms, floods and droughts. Extreme weather, the arrival of this enhanced phase of the MJO leads to cyclones or storms or floods or droughts. So, it has a tendency to propitiate extreme weather phenomena in case of India. Now, agricultural planning. Basically, the arrival of monsoon gets impacted by the MJO phenomenon, and thus it helps us to plan the agricultural crop sowing decisions and water management subsequently. So, also it enhances our modeling of the global climatic patterns and seasonal variability, which will further enhances our understanding of the monsoon as well as global phenomenon, climate phenomenon. So, this is the practice question: which among the following statements are correct regarding the Madden-Julian Oscillation? Please solve this question. Let us go into the next article, that is the cargo ship collapse and oil spill impact. Recently we have seen that Liberian flagged cargo vessel sank off the Kerala coast carrying hazardous material like calcium carbide and diesel, which led to the raising of oil spill concerns. But particularly this calcium carbide reacts with seawater to release the acetylene gas, which is highly inflammable and hazardous. So, what are the oil spills? First, let us go into what the basic concept, that is what are the oil spill. Basically, it refers to the release of liquid petroleum hydrocarbon into the environment, especially the marine ecosystem, due to the human activity, and is a form of pollution. It is a release of liquid petroleum hydrocarbon into the environment, especially in the marine ecosystem, due to the human activity, and it is a form of pollution. Basically, this particular term is basically given to the marine oil spills, where oil is released into the ocean or coastal waters, and later on spills may occur on the land. So, what are the sources? Basically, the oil tankers and their accidents, offshore platforms, leakage amongst them, drilling rigs and wells. These are the four prominent sources which have led to the oil spills. What are the impacts? Basically, what are the impact of these oil spills? The first and foremost impact is on the marine ecosystem. Basically, the oil, the crude oil that has been released by the oil spills led to the oil coating of the feathers of the marine birds, which leads to lead to loss of insulation abilities, which further promotes hypothermia and death among the marine birds. So, this is the first and foremost impact. Next is about threat to biodiversity, marine biodiversity. It is because of accumulation of toxic chemicals in the food chain, which leads to higher or significant risks to the higher level predators, leading to the long term health problems and reduction in biodiversity. It damages the fish gills. In case of fish, it has negative impact like damaging of fish gills, their reproductive abilities, and leads to ingestion toxicity. It also harms the coral reefs ecosystem, which are very sensitive to the outside environmental changes. It harms the mangroves and estuaries, which are the first line of defense against the cyclones or tsunamis. It also obstructs the sunlight and disrupt the photosynthesis in the marine plants as well as the phytoplanktons, and these phytoplanktons are very crucial for the oxygen production. Next impact is on the coastal community livelihoods. Basically, these oil spills disrupt the fishing activities, aquaculture and tourism, which leads to the economic loss among the coastal communities. Also, the cleaning up of these oil spills creates a huge financial burden on the state as well as industry, leading to the financial losses. And at last, the impact on the human health. Basically, this oil toxicity has many consist of many toxic compounds, and these toxic compounds can severe health problems like heart damage, stunted growth, immune system effect, and even death in certain extreme cases. So, what are the techniques for the oil spill cleanup? The first and foremost is about use of skimmers. Basically, it is a mechanical removal of the surface oil, but the limitation of these skimmers is need a quick deployment. Then in situ burning of the oil spills. This refers to the burning a particular patch of oil after it has concentrated in particular area. Then containment booms. It refers to the use of floating barriers to prevent oil spill from spreading into the wider area. Then use of sorbents. Basically, these sorbents either absorb or adsorb the oil. It has basically sorbents has two types: natural, like use of straw or ash; then synthetic, which are called as the plastic shavings; then use of dispersants. Break oil into the smaller droplets. With the help of dispersants, this particular oil is being broken into the smaller droplets, which and ultimately leading to the biodegradation. So, there is also the method of bioremediation, in which use of oil degrading bacteria are used. Example can be Cycloclasticus and Olispira. So, when it comes to oil spills, disaster of oil spill, what is the present status of the legal as well as the institutional framework in India? So, let us start with the institutional framework. Basically, in case of India, there has been a National Green Tribunal Act. As per the National Green Tribunal Act of 2010, NGT has a power to adjudicate the marine pollution cases, and it also has power to award the compensation in case of marine pollution cases. Then National Oil Spill Disaster Contingency Plan. That this particular plan was designed or activated in 1993 only, and Indian Coast Guard is the nodal agency for the implementation of this particular contingency plan. Then Merchant Shipping Act 1958. Basically, this act enabled us to adopt the MARPOL Convention or to adopt the MARPOL norms to regulate the shipborne pollution in Indian coastal waters. Now, what are the international legal framework for the oil spills? The first and foremost is about the MARPOL Convention, which regulates ship originated oil pollution. Then is about the bunker oil convention, which India ratified in 2015, it ensures compensation for the fuel oil spills. Then CLC 1969 and IOPC Fund 1992, they are basically to set liability and compensation for the oil spills. So this is about the legal and institutional framework for the oil spills at national as well as the international level. This is the practice question. Consider the following statements about the oil spills. Please solve this question. Now let's go into the last article of today's episode of the daily news analysis, that is India's new urban worry, the rising overnutrition. So basically, what is the context of this news? India is grappling with paradoxical nutritional landscape. Basically, in case of India, undernutrition remains a concern in many regions like rural areas or remote areas, among the marginal sections or vulnerable communities. But at the same time, overnutrition is rapidly escalating into the urban centers, particularly evident in the IT corridors of India, where professionals are becoming the face of silent metabolic crisis in the offing. So what is the present status or overall scenario of this overnutrition crisis in India? So the first and foremost is about the World Health Organization's 2024 World Health Statistics. That is, non-communicable diseases and obesity are increasingly prevalent in most economically productive section of the society. This observation states that NCDs and obesities are getting increasingly prevalent among the most economically productive segment of the society. The National Family Health Survey 5, it says that obesity is steadily rising with age. For example, 7% among 15 to 19 years and 32% among the 40 to 49 years people. Now, the latest recent article in Lancet magazine, it says that childhood obesity has surged by 244% in the past 3 decades and expected to climb another 121% in next 3 decades. So, childhood obesity is also the critical crisis that India has been witnessing. So, let us go into the causes of the overnutrition in the urban India. So, the first and foremost is the sedentary lifestyle. Basically, urban jobs, basically in IT as well as the other service sectors, involves long hours of the desk work with minimal or no physical activity. For example, Nature magazine has done study in IT employees, found that 84% of the IT employees in Hyderabad metro city have fatty liver disease primarily due to poor lifestyle habits. Then unhealthy dietary habits among the youth, basically increased consumption of ultra processed foods and snacks which are high in salt and fat. The free snacks kiosks in corporate offices leading to the energy dense foods which are having low or no nutrient value. Then irregular sleep patterns and chronic stress. This is the third important reason, because of the extended hours of workings or night shifts, increased screen time leading to the hormonal imbalances and metabolic disorders. This is highly prevalent among the tech professionals or IT professionals working in the global operations, which often face disruptions in the circadian rhythm of the body because of the irregular sleeping habits. So what are the causes of overnutrition in the urban? The next cause is about the aggressive marketing of the junk food. Basically, widespread advertising of the unhealthy foods which targets children as well as the youth shapes the consumption pattern. Basically, fast food outlets as well as the delivery apps have been expanded to the cities very aggressively, offering 24/7 access to the junk foods, and this is leading to the enhanced or increasing consumption of the fast foods among the youth. Then lack of nutrition awareness. Basically, many urban consumers are totally unaware of the portion sizes or calorie content or what are the long-term effects of the poor nutrition and this fast food. Then urban food environments, limited. In case of urban areas, there is a limited access to the fresh, affordable produce and easy availability of the processed food options. Basically, metro residents rely on the food delivery services that prioritize taste and convenience over nutrition. So there is very little or no regard for the nutritional value of the food that they have been consuming, and generally the taste and convenience is being prioritized over the nutrition. This is the reason the calorie intake is higher, leading to the overnutrition. So what are the measures needed to tackle this silent crisis that is in the offing in urban India? The first and foremost should be the changes in the workplace health programs. Basically, this can be done with the help of nutritional counseling or fitness programs in the offices, health screening of the employees. Example can be given by Tamil Nadu's Makkalai Thedi Maruthuvam company has screened more than 3.8 lakh employees and encourage them to have a better lifestyle choices through health walks and nutrition dives. Next is about regulating the processed food industry through different means like restricting marketing to the children, limiting the trans fats or sugars, salt in the processed foods, enforcement of the front of the pack labeling, which will give better information about the nutrient as well as the calorie content to the consumer. Example can be replicated from the Saudi Arabia's good practice, that is 50 to 100% tax on the sugary or energy drinks, sodium limit, enforcement of the sodium limits in the foods, taxation of the junk food, imposing heavy excise duties on the food which are high in fat, salt or sugar. Example can be replicated from Chile as well as Mexico. Have implemented such similar taxes led to the reduced sugary drink consumption. The next is about promoting healthy food choices either through office means or there can be through various government initiatives. It can be done through various government initiatives. For example, FSSAI is promoting Eat Right India movement. Fit India movement has been inaugurated by our Prime Minister on the National Youth Sports Day, which promotes the behavioral changes to adopt healthy lifestyle, to adopt more physical activities, and also implementing warning labels and health star ratings on the food packs. Also, there are different campaigns initiated by the Food Safety and Standards Authority of India. For example, campaigns like Aaj Se Thoda Kam, which encourage gradual reduction in the sugar, salt and fat intake among the consumers. Then National Institute of Nutrition, which is works under the ICMR, is working in the area of nutritional education such as development of IEC material for the healthy eating. Then urban planning for active living. Basically, this can be done by designing walkable cities, green spaces, bike lanes or community exercise areas among the cities. Cities like Pune are piloting active mobility corridors to promote the walking as well as the cycling. Next is about the incorporating nutrition syllabus in the school as well as the college curriculum, which will lead to the early education on the healthy eating, and this will definitely lead to the long term benefits to the children or teenagers. Then strengthening of the primary healthcare screening. This includes obesity and metabolic disorder checks by routine health screening among the employees or among the schools. So when it comes to conclusion of this particular crisis that urban India is facing, this tackling of the overnutrition requires multidimensional approach which will combine the policy measures, regulatory measures, education as well as the active community engagement. Addressing the overnutrition is also essential to achieve the sustainable development goal, which targets 1/3 reduction in the premature mortality from the non-communicable diseases. 1/3 reduction in the premature mortality from the non-communicable diseases by 2030, and this requires very urgent as well as the coordinated action from all the stakeholders in India. So this is the practice question. Urban India's rising burden of overnutrition and non-communicable diseases poses a silent threat to the public health. In this context, discuss the causes of overnutrition in the urban India and suggest the comprehensive policy measures. Please write this question. Thank you.